Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing an all about my transition to calories Q&A. For those of you that don't know, I announced the other day that I am no longer tracking points in any way, shape, or form. Smart points, points plus, you name it, I'm done with points and I'm exclusively calorie counting from this point until the foreseeable future. Will it last forever? Who knows, but for now and for the foreseeable future, I am calorie counting exclusively. If you would like more information on the reasons why and all of that jazz, I will link that video of my announcement down below. You're gonna wanna watch it if you haven't seen it already. It's full of all the information you wanna know. But for the information that wasn't shared in this video, you guys came at me with a bunch of questions. So I have all of your questions that I've gotten over the last couple of days written down, and we're gonna jump right in with the Q&A session so this video doesn't end up too long. Here we go. Question number 1 is, how did you figure out what your daily protein intake should be? I've always had a general idea of where my body is most functional and most vibrant in terms of protein intake, which vibrancy is not something you would normally associate with protein intake, but for me and my body, because I have a disease that degenerates my muscles, I firmly believe that I need more protein than the average bear. So I've always shot for a protein goal of at least 100 grams a day for a long time now. You guys know that. But just like my calorie goal, I am using guidelines of Jordan Syatt, the online trainer. He's great. He's full of wonderful information, and he's where I got a lot of my inspiration to do this, to up my calories, to do all these things that I've been doing and succeeding at recently. And basically I took his couple of protein formulas that I've seen within different programs in the Inner Circle program, and I kind of averaged them out, kind of pick and chose, like if the regular recommendation was too low for my liking, but there's a really intense diet plan on there that's really high for my liking, like it's unattainable, and he admits that. So I'm somewhere in between, and I currently, as long as I get 100 grams a day, I'm a happy camper. My goal is to normally get 120. Question number 2. Since you are tracking macros, because that is my secondary metric on iTrackBites, since you are tracking macros, are you trying to hit a certain number of carbs or fat, or are you not even concerned with them? And the answer is I'm not even concerned with them. I'm tracking macros specifically for my protein goal alone. I don't care what my fat intake is. I don't care what my carb intake is. I keep an eye on it, like, whoa, I went way over in fat, or hey, look at you not eating the carbs today. Good for you. But for me, the secondary metric on iTrackBites tracks macros, which is your protein, your fat, and your carbohydrates. And I am solely looking at the protein number in terms of trying to reach a daily goal. It's calories and protein for me. The other two don't matter. Question 3, what is your calorie goal? Do you have a set number or a range? And I have a range. I shoot for the same number every day, but it is in the middle of my desired caloric range. So if I shoot under a little bit, happy day to me, I'm more under than normal. If I shoot over a little bit, that's okay. I built in a buffer. And my current calorie goal is roughly 1,700 calories a day. That might go up as I learn what my body's doing, what my body can handle, how I lose, how I don't lose, all that jazz. I'm still in the beginning stages of truly learning what my body needs in terms of fuel, but 1,700 is my current starting point. If you have a calorie range, do some days you aim for the higher end and other days you aim for the lower end? That is called calorie cycling, and I am not doing it intentionally yet, but I have been doing it unintentionally. There are days where I clock in and I'm a little bit under and I'm just like, I'm not hungry, so I'm not gonna eat anymore, and that's totally acceptable. There are days, like just yesterday, where I ended up eating closer to 2,000 calories instead of 1,700, and I have found that these numbers end up averaging out to exactly my calorie goal. So I have been unintentionally calorie cycling, but I have not intentionally tried to do it yet. Will I do it in the future? Very likely, just at least for an experiment. You guys know how I liked to do the Wendy plan experiment with Points Plus. I will probably do at least a week of calorie cycling. Actually, let me know in the comments below if you would like to see that experiment, a week of calorie cycling as opposed to a week on the Wendy plan. And calorie cycling is you take the amount of calories you would get for a week and you have some low days and you have some high days that end up averaging out to your desired caloric intake. Question number 5 is, are you still using iTrackBites? Yes. I love iTrackBites, and I love that I can make this drastic transition without leaving my beloved program. So because of iTrackBites, I went to Points Plus initially, but it has all of these different weight loss plans available. And one of the programs that it allows you to do is just simply count calories. It can recommend a calorie goal for you, or you can manually input what you want your calorie and macro goals to be and just use them as a tracker. And so it was a seamless transition because all of my recipes, all of my favorited items, all of the things that I've created myself stayed in the app and just transferred over. And instead of telling me my points or my bites, it told me how many calories things were. It still had all the nutrition information and it made the transition seamless. It is going to take something tremendous and dramatic for me to leave iTrackBites. I love iTrackBites. That's why I'm their ambassador. Question number 6, are you still not weighing yourself? That is accurate. I am still not weighing myself, sort of, kind of. As you guys know, I have this numberless scale called the Shape-A scale, and it gives me colors instead of numbers. So it can tell me, hey, you're going in the right direction, hey, you're hanging out in maintenance mode, or hey, you might want to back off, you're starting to have an upward trajectory in the weight. And so it keeps me mindful of where I am at without giving me specific numbers. The scale knows the specific number. It weighs me every day. It just does not give me the numeric output. So that scale I do step on every single day. I do not step on the numeric scale every single day. However, I am starting to get back to the point mentally where I might be okay with stepping back on the numeric scale because I'm starting to feel good. I'm starting to feel in control again, and I'm starting to feel like the number's not going to mess with my head like it did when I took a step back. Does that make sense? So I might be getting numeric feedback very soon. I might hop back on the regular scale maybe in August just to see where I'm hanging out and to start gathering numeric data again. But for now, no, I'm not weighing myself with a number. Question number 7 is, have you changed your water intake since changing to calories? No, I still shoot for a gallon a day, and this change has not made any difference whatsoever. Question 8 is, how do you know how many calories you need to lose? And that is a great question, and that is a very individualized question. Yes, there are different calorie calculators out there on the internet that are available to you that can give you a baseline idea, but there are so many different clinical factors that have to go into deciding on your specific calorie goal that they might not be 100% accurate. However, they're a great place to start. And then there are trainers and everybody else online that have their own opinions on how this works. And I'm personally using formulas from the trainer Jordan Syatt, who I mentioned earlier. And his formula is your goal weight times 12. And then in his inner circle, he has some more specific plans with slightly different numbers than that. And then just the other day in the iTrackBites participants group, I saw from our head coach, from the iTrackBites head coach, a generic guideline is your goal weight times 10 if you are completely sedentary or don't really exercise, your goal weight times 11 if you mildly exercise, and your goal weight times 12 if you put in some solid exercise time. So that actually verified for me that because I'm a solid exerciser, that goal weight times 12 thing was actually not inaccurate. 2 completely different resources gave me the same equation, which was really, really cool. So it's all individualized to you and your needs and your activity level and all that jazz. Question number 9 is, do you ever have days where you just don't track? And the answer is no. Truly, that is the honest to God answer, and here's why. I have been doing this for so stinking long that even if I have a day or a meal that I'm not tracking, like it's date night, I'm eating pizza, it's not getting tracked accurately and I don't even care, or I was just home for the 4th of July and we had shish kebabs and we had this and that and the other thing, I'm still in my head, whether I like it or not, I'm still calculating things. So at any given moment, I still have a rough idea of what is happening. I cannot turn that switch off. I'm a chronic Weight Watcher. And so it's just part of my brain. Most of the time, especially in the last 6 months, I have come to terms with like, there is no such thing as cheat day. So there is no reason to not track your food. And coming to that realization, just my tracking, even on the days where I'm like, I don't want to track, I'm being deliberately indulgent, whatever, I still track it because at the end of the day, it's just data. Regardless of if you write it down in your tracker, you still consumed the food. So wouldn't it be better to just know and understand what your numbers actually are instead of turning a blind eye and just pretending it didn't happen. Because newsflash, your body is going to tell you that it happened anyway. If you overeat by a crap ton of calories, your scale's gonna go up. You might not feel very good. All of these things are gonna happen regardless of if you write them down in your tracker. So for me, I choose to write the things down anyway, even if it's just a rough estimate, solely so I understand what I'm doing to my body and where my numbers are in terms of an average for the week. It's just data, ladies and gentlemen. It's just data, so why wouldn't you track? Question number 10 is, do you miss having weeklies? Obviously, with the transition away from any sort of points plan, I also lose the ability to have weeklies. And the answer is no, I do not miss them at all. And I kind of thought I would, because I understand that having weeklies gives you an extra element of freedom. But here's the thing, tracking solely calories is its own element of freedom. I have not felt this free in terms of my food consumption in a very, very long time, and it feels incredible. So that same sort of freedom or that cushion that weeklies afford Weight Watchers members, I'm given just in the fact that I'm tracking calories, and I can eat as much food, not as much food as I want, but the calorie goal that I have is very sustainable and very easy for me to hit and have dessert, or hit and have cheese, or hit and have a couple of snacks. All of that fits, generally speaking, within my calorie goal, so I don't often feel like I need the weeklies to make me feel safe, to make me feel like, oh, it's okay if I have this thing, because it's okay if I have the thing, regardless, which is an amazing feeling, an absolutely amazing feeling. And the other side of it is, remember how I said I work within a caloric range? I'm shooting for 1750, but if I hit 1600 or I hit 1800, that's completely 100% okay. Or there's calorie cycling. If I go over by 500 or 600 calories one day, I just have to make sure that I get those calories back in some other days. So for me, I still kind of have weeklies. It's just a mathematical equation. That's all weeklies are, is an additional mathematical equation, and you can create that same mathematical equation of, I overdid it here, what do I have to make sure I do to make sure all of the numbers average out properly by the end of the week? That equation can happen in calories too. So no, I don't miss my weeklies at all because I don't really feel like I lost them. And then the last question I got was, will you be trying new restaurants and recipes because of your new method, or are you sticking with the usual? And this is sort of an interesting question because the answer is no, I'm not going to try anything new, because my philosophy has always been I can have what I want in moderation, and that statement is still fact. However, the calories are making it a lot easier for me to track things, a lot easier. Restaurants don't always give you all of the information when it comes to what you need to formulate points and this and that and the other thing, but a lot more restaurants give you calorie counts right there on the menu. Easy peasy. And even if I can't figure out how much protein is in something, it's not the end of the world, but I could still, if we go out somewhere that has the calories on the menu, I can just insert just the calorie number, so I at least have an idea of what I'm doing, regardless of if my protein is in there or not. Now, that being said, it also does encourage me to maybe bake a little bit more. I've been dabbling in the legit baking, the actual real full sugar desserts, which in terms of calories don't hit you nearly as hard as points hit you, right? So it's a lot easier for me to work those things into my plan. Thinking back to when I would get HelloFresh or Blue Apron or things like that, and I would be like, holy cow, this meal is 600 or 700 calories. Now I'm looking at my day and being like, if a 700 calorie dinner showed up at my door, I could still have 1,000 calories to use the rest of the day. This is incredible, and I just feel like it makes everything easier. So it's not changing using different recipes and using restaurants and things like that, but it is making it easier for me, in my opinion. All right, there you go. Those are all of the questions that I received since I uploaded my other video. I hope you found this information helpful as to my transition from points to calories. If you have any other questions for me, I am an open book, my friends. I really am. So leave your other questions down below and I will answer them as I can. If you like this video, if you approve of my move to calories from points, then give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already joined the Diva and the Divine community, we would love to have you. Just hit that little red button down there and you will be a welcome part of our team. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. Take care, and I will see you soon. Bye.